And so he turned to the occult, and I'm trying to understand why he did that. Well, in 2008, Pastor Tony took a group of youth to Haiti on a mission trip. And he asked my wife, Bev, and I to go with him and be chaperones. And it was something that changed my life. It really did. But I remember one time we're traveling. We did a lot of traveling. And we're in the back of a truck, and we're traveling, and we go to Beauchamp. It was a city there. It was just just a few huts and stuff like that. And there was a church there. And so we got there, and there wasn't enough room for us to sleep anywhere. So we put all our sleeping bags on top of a roof. And we were going to sleep up there, and we got up there. The generator goes off at about 8 o'clock, and it is dead silent. And there are no lights anywhere. There was not a moon that night. I've never seen such a beautiful sky in my life. The peripheral of the stars everywhere. It was just gorgeous. And we're just sitting there. And we had asked the interpreter about the Haitians. And he said, well, 93% of Haitians are some kind of Christian. And I remember thinking, why are we here if 93% were Christians? So we're laying down that night, and it's all quiet, and it's dark, and we're sitting there. Pretty soon, I start hearing, and I go, okay, what's that? And I'm looking out, and then this flame of fire goes up in the air, just whoosh. And I'm like, okay, what's that? And our interpreter says, well, that's voodoo. I said, what? And pretty soon on the right, the same thing happens. The drums start, the flames go up, and we're hearing chants of cheer. And I go, what's going on? I said, voodoo. I thought the 93% were Christian. He said, yeah, but 95% have dabbled in voodoo at some time. I go, what's going on? Well, they say they believe in God, but just in case God doesn't answer their questions, they want a backup. And they turn to voodoo. And I think that's what Saul was doing. Saul only trusted God when his prayers were answered immediately. And so he turned to the occult to try to find answers when he didn't feel like he was getting answers from God. So God had departed from Saul. God stopped speaking to him. So he turned to the occult, just like the Haitians do to voodoo. And it says, the medium told him, the Lord will deliver both Israel and you into the hands of the Philistines, and tomorrow your sons and you will be with me. He told them they're going to die. And Israel will fall into the hands of the Philistine. Saul was filled with fear. He was at rock bottom. Everything the medium had told him came true. The Philistines conquered the Israelites' army, killed Saul's 3 sons, which one was Jonathan, and Saul was critically wounded. The scariest part about this, turning to the occult, is that she gave him the correct answers. That's very scary to me. There is evil in this world, and we've got to be very careful of what we turn to. And in Samuel 31, 4 and 5, it says, Saul said to his arm bearer, draw your sword and run it through me. Now, this is when the Philistines had gathered all around him. He says, put it through me, or these uncircumcised fellows will come and run me through and abuse me. But his arm bearer was terrified and would not do it. So Saul took his own sword and fell on it. When the arm bearer saw what Saul was dead, he fell on his sword and died with him. You see, Saul probably knew what happened with Samson when he was given to the Philistines. They gouged his eyes out. They made him do heavy labor for the rest of his life. He was bound in shackles, and he knew what the Philistines would do, so Saul just took his own life. The first king of Israel fell on his sword and killed himself. How sad is that? The one that people wanted to be king over everyone else ends up killing himself. The next day, the Philistines found him. They cut off Saul's head, took his armor. They put his armor in the temple, and they put his head in the temple with Dagon, which was the chief god of the Philistines, is just a very huge insult. And I just wonder what would have happened to Saul had he turned to God in these times and waited for his timing. What might have happened?